Hi friends, this is Pastor Lucas Pin and this is our snack for the journey, and we are this week in the book letter that Paul wrote to the Colossians. He wrote a letter from the jail, and he was dealing with the Jewish people, some leaders, Jewish leaders that were trying to make the Gentiles to become Jewish first, so they could be a Christian, they could follow a Christian, they could serve the Messiah and believe in the Messiah. So they have to follow all those rules and regulations and ceremonies and everything. And the Gentiles were getting crazy because they had no clue about those things. For the Jewish guy that came and said, look, for the Jewish guy was just they were waiting, they had all those kind of things, they have all that foundation, and then the Messiah came, so it was the next step. For the Gentile was kind of, we have to go all the way back and start all over again. And it was crazy, and they were coming with all those regulations, not only from the Bible, but for their traditions, that not even in the Bible and the Old Testament. Is a kind of, it was complicated. And today we're going to see one that is very interesting, that Paul is trying to finish the debate here and say, okay, look, this is what you need to know. And I'd like to share this verse with you. It's chapter 2. It's two verses, 16 and 17. 16 and 17. Look what Paul wrote. Therefore, do not let anyone judge you by what you eat or drink, or with regard to a religious festival, or a new moon celebration, or a Sabbath day. These are shadow of the things that were to come. The reality, however, is found in Christ. Paul is telling to the Gentiles here, to the new Christians here, say, look, do not let anyone, because they were judging them, poor Gentiles. The Jewish guys, they say, oh, you don't do this, oh, you don't do that, oh, you're not good enough, you're not Christian, you're far away, and you have to do this, and you have to keep the Sabbath, you have to keep the new moon, you have to keep this, and you have to keep, you didn't circumcise yet, oh, that's bad, that's bad. And Paul said, look, these were shadows. The reality is Christ. Those things that they had in the Old Testament were symbols, shadows of Christ. They point to Christ. They help us to understand when the Messiah comes, this is what he's going to do. So when you go to the tabernacle, all those sacrifices and everything, these are shadows of Christ. That is what Paul is saying here. So all those little things there, they did all those ceremonies and all that, the colors and everything, the calendar, it was pointing to Christ. Now we have the reality. We don't need the shadows anymore. The reality is here. It came. It's Christ. So we need to understand that there are things in the Old Testament that, we don't do that anymore. Why we don't do those things anymore? Because Christ came. And those things were pointing to Christ. Those things were there to guide us to Christ. Now Christ came. I don't need to keep doing those things anymore because now Christ is here. And sometimes we have the same problem in the church. You go to the church that is a legalistic attitude. I'm not talking about doing the right thing and doing the wrong thing. It's not that. I'm not talking about this kind of legalism. But in Brazil, like they would say, a Christian don't drink, don't smoke, don't dance, and don't play cards. That is a Christian. You can do a lot of bad stuff out of this, but those four were kind of, this is the top. And I remember, this is why sometimes when Martha complains with me, she wants to dance, and I never learned how to do that. Because, hey, you don't dance. It's kind of, and when when I drink a cup of wine and I look around and say, oh, can I do this here? It's kind of in public. Oh, what's going to happen if someone comes to your house and open the fridge and see a can of beer there? Oh, man. You know what I mean? Who created those rules? Someone had nothing to do but do this stupid thing. And people start feeling guilty. What Paul is saying here, look, telling the Gentiles, look, those things, they were shadows. They were supposed to point you to Christ and point them to Christ. Now Christ came. He is the reality. We don't need to look at the shadow anymore. We can look right at him and see him. This is what we need to do. We follow Christ. We look at Christ. We serve him. And this is our snack for the journey. God bless you.